So welcome back to my video series all about learning how to do what you love. So this is the second video in the series. The first video last week was where we looked at the pros and cons about doing what you love or settling and doing something that maybe you don't love. And I think it's a really important, crucial step, in fact, to acknowledge that there are some positives to not putting yourself out there and trying to do what you love. There's financial security for one, there's things like that. So it's really important just to take a moment and just weigh up what you're looking at here. What are the positives to doing what you love? And taking a moment to just deal with that massive question. So if you haven't done that yet, I suggest you go back and watch video 1. And we left that video exercise with a little exercise for you to go away and start being the investigator of your curiosity, because your curiosity and tapping into exactly what lights you up and what makes you tick, again, is critical in this journey. Because once you have ascertained your passion and purpose, it's actually relatively easy to get on the right path and start doing that and experiencing that in your life. What is far more difficult, and definitely not impossible, but it takes a bit longer in my experience, and is the step that is pretty much always missed by so many people, is to first tap in and work out what your passion actually is, who you actually are, how you tick, what you love, what environment you need to work in. So there's the subject of the thing that you might want to do, or the topic you want to explore, or the way you want to contribute to life or the world, that kind of thing. But then there's also knowing yourself, knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are, and all those kind of things, and getting a true picture of who you as a human being are and how you will thrive. And then you can take how you will thrive, add to that what you absolutely love doing, and there go on and create your passion and purpose and turn that into a career or a job or a way of monetizing what you love doing and who you love helping, that kind of thing. So how do we start with that? Well, we start by acknowledging there needs to be a bit of time taken where you are going to commit to going on a journey to ascertain those type of things. So we're going to be looking at, for example, what your definition of happiness is. That's really, really, really cool, because so many people, again, we're just conditioned by society and culture, community, friends, family, teachers, that kind of thing. And a lot of us have been conditioned to believe that happiness equals achievements and it equals physical things. And so if we get more stuff, or we get a means to buy more stuff, and we have more achievements, we hit more milestones in our careers and in our lives, then that surely makes us successful. And I'm sure a lot of you will think, yeah, that's what I've been taught to believe. But we're going to look at, within this series down the line, at does it really? Does it really make you feel happier to reach those different things that are just so normalized in society? Because when you actually take time to ask yourself, do I really want that? Do I want to be on that track? Are those the things that make me happy? Or is there something else that makes me happier? So you need to be doing things like that. So this is the kind of stuff we're going to be looking at on your journey. What your definition of happiness. Another thing we're going to be looking at is understanding your strengths and weaknesses. Super, super important one. So many people get stuck doing something they're not very good at just because it's the offer is in front of them, or as I had experienced, many people have experienced this too, you just fall into something and then you end up on a career track that you never chose yourself, but it feels ludicrous to jump out of it. Because of course, going back to the conditioning around what success is, a lot of us think, how can I give up the career with the car, the phone, the bonuses, what have you? So looking at what your strengths and weaknesses are is so important, because if you realize that what you're doing every day is using aspects of your personality, your skills, which are actually your weaknesses, you are never going to be happy. You're going to be really struggling. And I know this firsthand, and oh my goodness, am I glad that I jumped out of that trajectory. The third thing we need to be looking at are things like unveiling what your tendencies are, how you like to focus on things, what environment you want to work in or be in every day, what environment helps you to thrive and feel good, what is your natural disposition. When you start to layer in all this understanding and self-realization, then you have the true tools to jump into doing what you love. But without them, you're probably going to jump into something new and go, oh, it didn't work. I didn't feel good doing that. And then later on realize I was using my weaknesses, or I was in an environment that doesn't enable me to thrive. So another key piece. A fourth key piece that we're going to be looking at is what truly lights you up. What do you love doing? What is your passion? What are you passionate about? And that is one of the things we're going to continue to look into today. So we started it last week with starting to investigate your curiosity. And today I'm going to give you two simple and extremely fun questions to answer. So I would suggest at this point that you grab a piece of paper and a pen. A journal is even better. Something where you will keep coming back to it is wonderful. I would even suggest creating a journal that is just for this work of doing what you love. But that's because I have the kind of brain that likes everything to have its own little journal and everything to have its own place. So do whatever works for you, but write down this question. Who do you think is having the most fun in the world right now? What are they doing? And I want you to write down at least 5 to 10 answers for that. Again, just whatever comes out of your head. And just, take a moment to think, who is having the most fun right now? Who would I just love to just jump into their shoes for the day and experience what they're doing? Off the top of my head, I would love to work in the movies, and I would love to jump into the shoes of a leading actor and play a part doing maybe something really physical like an action movie, or something incredibly slow and emotional. I would love to do that. I'd love to be on set. I love the feeling of the cameras and the lights and the challenge of trying to remember what you need to say and trying to evoke a certain emotion. That for me is so exciting. I also think if I was to be going into somebody's house and decorating their home for Christmas and going and shopping for all of their Christmas decorations and creating a whole scheme, seems incredibly exciting to me too. As does being on a quad bike in a beautiful place of natural beauty and working as a, what do you call them, a forest warden, is it? Basically being outside all day in nature. So allow yourself to start throwing out the answers to that question. And when you finish that and you feel like you've got all the ideas out, and you can do way more than 10, do as many as it's flowing out of you. Then move on to question number 2, which is, what feels like play to me? And with this one, I want you to write down the answers in quick fire mode. Do not filter them. Don't think to yourself, I don't think I find that fun actually. Just write everything down. And I want you to go for as many as physically possible here. 25 or more would be perfect. And if you can keep all that safe, we will be building on these answers as we go throughout the year, working on this series of doing what you love. So go away and enjoy those exercises. They're the most fun. I'm going to stop and do them right now myself, because it's really important to keep tuning into these things, because the answers will change as you experience more life. And so you want to check in and do this like every 6 months or so. So without further ado, go ahead and do that, and I'll be back next week, and we will be continuing on this journey of self-discovery and helping you discover how to do what you love.